Okay, I guess I'm gonna just start this podcast now. Earlier, when I was doing microphone tests, it seemed like the audio skipping a little bit when I would rewatch it back. So hopefully that doesn't happen very much. I'm not sure if that was a problem with my microphone or if that was a problem with like the Wi-Fi or something. But anyways, I guess I'm gonna try to do a podcast. I think like today everything I was thinking was like stupid, but I still wanted to do a podcast anyway, and I don't really think it matters if it's stupid because podcasts are allowed to be stupid sometimes, right? Or even a lot of times. I mean, I could just name this channel the Stupid Podcast. Podcasts are allowed to be about just about anything, right? So, anyways, hi, welcome to my second podcast. So, I'm actually live streaming this one, yeah. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is probably an example of how I think too deeply about things that don't really matter or that I can't change. But anyway, I was just thinking something about tanning. I never understood why the body orders the skin to get darker when it senses it will be in the sun more often. The reason I don't understand this is like, why do you tan when you're in the sun? Like, I get that it increases melanin production, which because the UV rays, blah, 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 whatever. But why did biology structure itself that way? Why wouldn't biology structure itself so that like melanin production is decreased or something, or you get lighter when you're in the sun more often? In other words, why don't you become more pale the more time that you spend in the sun? The reason it's really confusing to me, because I know darker objects absorb light more, which means they get hotter faster. And I just don't get why your skin would want to get darker. That just means it's going to get fucking hotter in the sun, right? It seems like it would want to get lighter so that it could repel more sunlight. So I was thinking, like, if you wear a black shirt, if it's really hot out and you wear a black shirt, you're a dumb motherfucker. Like, you could be a dumbass. Because a black shirt absorbs the heat too much, making it hot. You know? Or like black leather seats in a car that's been sitting in the sun. It just seems like your skin is basically saying, oh, hey, there's excess sunlight hitting us. So what are we going to do? Let's just adjust the skin so that even extra fucking sunlight can be absorbed. In addition to this perceived extra that's already hitting us. Yeah, let's just get darker. Like, I get that sunlight makes the skin create more melanin, and melanin protects the skin from UV rays because melanin is dark. The dark shit absorbs light, which directs the UV light away from other cells. But why didn't the skin evolve? Like, to make skin pigment that's reflective instead of something that absorbs. The skin's like, okay, I got two choices to direct this light away from important cells. Choice one, absorb the light into something else in my skin by making something else that's dark. Or choice two, make something that reflects light only. And it selects choice one. Even though choice one has the disadvantage of making you hot as fuck on a sunny day. Why is melanin dark? Wouldn't it be smarter if melanin made your skin a lighter color so that it could reflect all light of the spectrum instead of absorb it? Just like wearing a light colored t-shirt on a hot sunny weather is smarter than wearing a black t-shirt. I think I'm over explaining this. What else should I talk about? I'm sort of nocturnal because I have this telescope, and I like this one sleep-wake schedule of going to bed around lunchtime, like when everybody else is at lunch. It's not my lunchtime, but around like 12 o'clock, and then sleeping all the way to 8 p.m. You want to know why? Because that's such a nice astronomical schedule, because then you get to be awake all night, especially in the summer. It's nice. And not only are you awake all night, but you get to be awake for a good bit of the day as well. It's just that it's the end of your day, which is even more good for astronomy, because sometimes you want to see the sun too with the solar filter. And on top of all that, maybe not on top of everything, but on top of that, not even on top. I don't know why I'm acting like there's priority to these benefits, but going out to like bars and stuff at night is nice when you're like not as exhausted from the day. Not that I even do that, but imagine the trick that you could pull on all of your friends. Just you being on an I just woke up vibe. Like I'm ready to get the day started vibe. But for everyone else, it's the end of the day. And they're like fighting tiredness to stay awake with everyone at night. You know? And they're fucking seeking excitement so that they don't have to feel tiredness. But when you're just like not tired at all because you literally just woke up, you have a better ability to party. And you're taller, by the way. It's only like a fraction of an inch, but it can still give you this confidence boost while it lasts in the beginning of the day. You're taller when you go out to bars. Is to fucking mingle with all the chicks that frequent bars who care about how tall you are. You're literally taller because your spine is taller when you wake up. It doesn't last very long. It compresses gradually throughout the day. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite schedules. Anyhow, there's something else that I want to talk about, but I'm not sure how I can explain it. There's like this thing I've noticed where like people and it's just an idea, really a guess, a suspicion. It might not even be true. It seems like people like underestimate the personality or the character or the contribution into conversation that you have when you speak common sense, when you say the obvious thing, like like I've noticed in examples in life where like there's like this sport almost or this skill of saying the common sense thing that everybody understands, that everybody already knows, but that is just barely interesting enough to be worthy of saying it. And there's this skill of you being the one who actually says the thing. And when you do that, everyone hears it. And they have this automatic reaction of agreeing with you, and the conversation has this added momentum that you just added to it by just saying the common sense thing. But because they totally agree with you, they do not value what you said as like revolutionary. It's just like you come across as like utterly like almost utterly duh. Like, of course. And they do not realize the value or the difficulty in that skill of saying what is obvious and discerning between which particular obvious thing is actually interesting enough to say. I've noticed it even in myself, like when I used to not value certain individuals as like highly as I should have. When they would do that, they would speak the obvious awesome thing, and I would not regard them as this great contributor, this borderline really intelligent person in terms of their contribution to the conversation. For example, there was this friend Evan who I had in high school. And looking back, I can't believe actually how smart Evan was in so many instances. And all he ever did was say the simple truth. The thing that it's just I already agree with. Everyone agrees with. You can't even argue with it because of how common sense it is. But it's just barely the most interesting thing that's common sense. Like, for example, when we were in homeroom one time, this must have been like 10th grade. Evan was, I don't know, somehow we were talking about the topic, got into like the debate of God and the Big Bang. And what Evan said was, a lot of people say, oh, it's God. Other people say, oh, it's the Big Bang. But why can't people just say, God made the Big Bang? And like, that's just an example of something that like is just, it's easy to agree with, you know? Like, he was just, here's a solution to the debate, is what he was saying. And to just say that. I don't know if that's a perfect example of what I'm even trying to say right now. Probably not, but I guess I can't really think of many more examples. But like I sort of noticed this like when you say this common sense thing, people's mind is blown. Actually, when it's not common sense, when it's revolutionary, when they don't already understand it. And when they come to understand it afterwards, then their mind will be blown. But there's an equal value in the skill of saying the thing that they already know is true, but it's just barely interesting enough to be worthy of saying it. Which is like, it's really a more comfortable mode of contribution to conversation because there's like this lower risk of them disagreeing or misunderstanding. But anyway, I guess I'll turn this podcast off for now.